Hello and welcome to Money Life. This is Sucheta Dalal. Today we are going to talk about Karvy Share Brokers Limited. Now many of you know that Karvy is one of the biggest financial market intermediaries. In fact, the group has a footprint across the capital market and many people, tens of lakhs of investors have given it a power of attorney to handle something or the other that they own or they trade in. Now, on the 22nd of this month, the National Stock Exchange decided to expel Karvy Share Brokers. This expulsion, strangely enough, comes exactly a year to the date. In fact, on the 22nd of November last year, the Securities and Exchange Board of India had suspended Karvy and stopped it from taking any more clients and doing any more business. But for 1 year, it was in suspended animation. Now, before that happened, or rather when that happened, there was a lot of drama accompanying it. What had Karvy done? Why was it punished? In a nutshell, it had illegally pledged 2,300 crore worth of its client shares, putting them in a pool account, pledged them with four lenders, four of the biggest lenders I would say in the market, very reputed ones, and raised 600 crore. What it had also done is transferred over 1,096 crore to a group realty company. Now, this is completely shocking and illegal. Karvy didn't really deny it. So two things happened. The lenders tried to get those shares. SEBI for once acted smartly and told the depository, no, you will transfer the shares. If they have been paid for, you will transfer them back to investors. A lot of investors turned lucky that day and got their shares back. But there were lakhs of others who didn't. There were complaints, and for a whole year they were left high and dry. In fact, just 3 months ago when I was talking to sources in the National Stock Exchange, they were quite confident that Karvy had assets far in excess of its liabilities and it would find a way to bring the money in. In fact, that is exactly what the group chairman C. Parthasarathy had been telling us as well, that everybody would be paid. But I think 1 year down the line, when nothing was happening, there were excuses, there was talk of illness, everybody's patience wore thin, and a year later, after long rope, the NSE finally expelled Karvy. SEBI followed it up with a confirmatory order of something that it had to do earlier. The BSE also, which had less of a problem, had to follow suit by expelling Karvy. Now, investors are again running helter-skelter, wondering what to do about their shares. There is a process. I've done several video blogs on failed brokers, yet another. There are about 12 large brokers that have failed. So the process is that until a broker is declared a defaulter and expelled, the investor protection fund and every other remedy doesn't kick in. So the good part is that people who've been left high and dry have probably the right, depending on the case-by-case investigation by the NSE, of getting up to 25 lakhs per person, per investor from the NSE's Investor Protection Fund. So that process will start now because it's 1 year later. The question that I have to discuss today is, we've had a string of broker defaults. What does it show? It shows regulatory failure. It shows that the exchange has not been alert. Most of them have been on the National Stock Exchange, which is a near monopoly, accounts for over 90% of trading. It also shows that despite all the new rules and the tinkering by the Securities and Exchange Board of India, it has not been up to scratch when it comes to supervision. Now, you would think that Karvy, which has such a big footprint across, let me read out to you. You know how many companies that Karvy has in the financial sector? Its website lists at the top Karvy Share Brokers, which has been expelled. The other companies are Karvy Comtrade, which is into commodity broking, Karvy Capital, which is an NBFC and into portfolio management, Karvy Investment Advisory Services, which was once an insurance broker, Karvy Holdings, which is like the core investment company of the group, Karvy Middle East LLC, which is wealth management for NRIs, Karvy Realty, which got the 1,096 crore, Karvy Financial Services, an NBFC, Karvy Consultants, Karvy Forex and Currencies, Karvy Insurance Repository, Karvy Data Management Services, Karvy Investor Services, Karvy Insights, Karvy Analytics, Karvy Solar Power, it's gone into solar power as well, Karvy Global Services, this is limited, and Karvy Global Services Incorporated of the US, and just Karvy Incorporated in the US. A large group in the financial sector. you would think that the regulator would keep a hawk-like eye on it. One of its most profitable businesses, which has been in for over 25 years, was being a registrar and transfer agent for some of India's largest companies. This business was very recently sold to General Atlantic Singapore Fund. Now, what does it mean? A, this is a group which had tremendous fiduciary responsibility cast on it. It held the power of attorney for a lot of investors, lakhs and lakhs of investors, and the regulator should have been keeping tight control over it. Instead, it has been controversial and in trouble for a long time. So, A, just 3 years ago, in September in fact, it signed a settlement agreement with SEBI because SEBI had conducted an inspection and found a lot of things wrong, including KYC. This is in a nutshell. I'm not going to go into it now, but in a nutshell, the inspection report says Karvy did not observe the highest standards of integrity and fairness in conduct of business. So the period was 2011 to 12. It paid a fine of a settlement fund of 2.68 lakhs, got away. But what you're finding in 2019 is a repeat at a much larger scale of what it did in 2011. SEBI should have been watching closely. But that's not the end of the story. Karvy was in even deeper trouble in the beginning of this century, somewhere between 2003 and 5, when it was caught in what is called the IPO scam or the multiple application scam. True enough that the National Securities Depository was in bigger trouble, and yet its managing director went on to become the SEBI chairman. So Karvy probably thought it's going to get away. But while 100 other intermediaries quickly settled in the IPO scam, and do Google and look it up, Karvy was not, because it was big, and what the investigation found is that it colluded with market intermediaries every step of the way to allow a bunch of operators to make multiple applications, get a loan from bank to make those applications, then put them through, get an allotment, get a refund. Every step of the way there were Karvy intermediaries that were hand holding this process. So it wasn't allowed to get away with a settlement, right? So when it comes to 6.8 lakhs in 2017, remember the settlement has to be cleared by a high power committee. And when you have this festering, now when the IPO scam happened in 2003 and 5, we know that it was a big drama. NSDL contested it, there were allegations against SEBI. There were board members who wrote things. So again, I'm not going to go into that. What I'm going to tell you is that SEBI finally took action in 2014. Karvy promptly went to the Securities Appellate Tribunal. This is what happens repeatedly. You'd see the pattern. Any big intermediary gets expensive high-powered lawyers, goes to court, and delays and buys time. So SAT immediately gave it a stay order, asked SEBI in 2015 to relook at what Karvy had done and issue fresh orders. I did a web search. I have no idea what has happened. There's nothing on the web to say what happened after this. After SAT was sent it back to SEBI in 2015, did it issue orders? What I'm trying to stress here is 2017, based on something that had happened in 11-12, SEBI was supposed to keep a closer watch on Karvy. 2003 to 5, there was a problem. This has been in court, has been before the SAT in 2014. SEBI is supposed to have kept a closer watch, and yet in 2019, a much bigger drama where 2,300 crore worth of shares are pledged, 1,000 crores transferred, and what does the regulator and the exchange do? They give a whole year to Karvy to find a way to get back money. One of the things that kept happening is that we at Money Life, and I'm on Twitter, so I keep getting these complaints saying, please help us with Karvy. We run a foundation called Money Life Foundation where people kept saying, what do we do about Karvy? So I tweeted about it sometime at the end of July, and I said, how many people still haven't received their shares? And I was surprised. I got hundreds of replies. I'd sent my email. I then forwarded over 95 of them, and then I followed it up with a second and third lot and sent them to the Karvy chairman. I was actually pleasantly surprised when Mr. C. Parthasarathy, chairman of the group, wrote to me saying, we've seen the tweet and we are intending to pay, and we will pay back these investors. Now, anybody who's given this option that money may come back wants to give time to the company to pay back. And true enough, when somebody says that they're going to refund money, as far as we are concerned, investors' first priority is to get their money back. I really don't care, or we do care that people are punished for wrongdoing, but that comes later. You have invested, you want your money back. So when Mr. Parthasarathy said that he would return the money, we thought it's wonderful. In fact, we got a reply that 91 investors had been paid back, at least up to 20,000 each. One person has got over 4 lakhs back. A lot of investors got their shares back. In fact, I sent a total of 136 investor complaints, and there has been some action or the other. Now, even until 2 weeks ago, Mr. Parthasarathy kept saying that we intend to pay. In fact, he wrote to me saying that on the larger issue of refunding customers' money, we've had a temporary setback and there were delays. We have addressed most issues and are continuing to address the balance. But the last 3 weeks, we didn't get any reply at all. The last we got was on 4th November, where Karvy and Mr. Parthasarathy kept saying, send us complaints, but there were no more payments coming. So there was absolutely no money. I think NSE, which gave a much longer rope, finally realized that nothing is working, and this action. What does it say? What are these things that are pledged? What is the guarantee? What is the assurance? You remember the long list of Karvy group names that I read out? I mean, the amount it's going to have to fight with the lenders, where it borrowed 600 crores. I'm sure that's not paid. It has to pay back investors' money. Does it really not have any assets at all? Or will we find it again spending large amounts of money to fight the action in court, because that is expensive, that leads to delays? And the bigger question that I have is, what is the regulator going to do? Because if a group that is as large as this, in trouble since 2003, has not been monitored adequately till it goes bust and destroys people's investment and wealth, I see only one solution to this, which is that we have a system. SEBI reports to the Finance Ministry reports to Parliament. So unless parliamentarians begin to be concerned about investments that are lost and begins to question regulators, makes them accountable, nothing is going to change. But that's not going to happen until you and I begin to question our parliamentarians and wake them up to their duties. If you like this video blog, may I request you to share it with others so that we stop a lot more people from losing their money and encourage them to fight for their rights. Thank you.